All right, everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are joining us live here, we had a really robust, lengthy session, although it was extremely valuable. Talking with Jeremiah Wong from Frontier Precision, going through the ins and outs of everything on drones. So if you're joining us for a quick overview of the course, and we're not able to join us live here tonight, we strongly encourage you to watch that session. Although it's long, it's full of a lot of really, really important details surrounding how to flight plan, what are we doing in flight, and some really cool things that we can do with drone data in post-processing or in analysis or analytics from that standpoint. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here for week 7. Fortunately, we didn't obviously visit about this beforehand because we're doing all Q&A and final project questions at the onset of the evening. However, you'll notice that in the week 7 content, you'll also find some recordings or virtual real-time recordings from Adele Stewart, formerly of Frontier Precision, who had worked for GeoSLAM as of recent. He has a presentation from last year that I recorded, made available if you want to look at it. This is all on handheld and mobile data collection. In other words, like little scanner, 3D point cloud scanners that you can walk through buildings with, things like that. Very informative, very current. Again, it was only last year. And then also have a 2019 recording. Again, this is all just value added material. If you want to use it, that's great. From Dustin Hart, Katie Rudolph, who kind of tie together and bridge the gap between drones and GIS a little bit more. I know in our presentation this evening, Jeremiah didn't talk a ton about the GIS side, where in Dustin's and Katie's experiences, they bring a little bit more of that side and from the GPS perspective. Number 3 on our agenda, you'll see underneath our Canvas materials for this week, a lot of really cool drone readings, and maybe we'll pull that up so you could take a look at that. Certainly, it's going to just only highlight some of the cool things that Jeremiah was going through tonight here. Come on here, move off the screen. All right. So in week 7, you'll see some of the drone reading content here. So just a couple of short PDFs on what you can do with drones in the commercial industry and the business industry, job sites. Much of what was discussed in our presentation with Jeremiah here earlier. But nevertheless, I'll be posting that session out here with both Jeremiah and in our short little overview here as well. But you'll notice the material with Dell and Dustin, as well as the guest presentation and a couple of subsequent short videos on DJI drones here as well. And then you'll also see a little optional session there of drones and the age of digital automation. Again, that's all sidebar stuff. And then you'll see the activity down here posted in the agenda. So hopefully the activity assignment for this period, for this week, really pretty well straightforward. Shouldn't take you too long to go through these things. A lot of them have built-in exercises with drone to map and the site scan for ArcGIS. These are things that I haven't found us able to really gain a whole lot of access to. So do not worry. That'll shrink the amount of time that it takes you to go through these exercises. What does that mean? Simply read through the exercises and just be familiar with these products that are out there. A lot of things that we do in the technical realm right now are all about product familiarity, just to know that they exist. Like we talked in our session tonight with Pix4D, some of these other software packages, we may not always be able to get our hands on them just due to cost, licensing, things like that. However, as long as we can review them, understand, be familiar with what some of them do and how we can use them, that's really what's important right now at this stage of the game. That's where this assignment activity comes into play. So there are a couple of exercises in your ArcGIS Online. So log in with your credentials, things like that. Go to your course catalog like you've maybe done before. If you have any questions or problems on this, please let me know and I can help you further. But otherwise, run a search for each one of these courses and go through them, but they shouldn't take you too much more than an hour tops, I would think, especially with just reading through the exercises. Then you might need to take a short quiz or a small little exam to get your certification. Don't worry if you miss a couple questions or anything like that related to an exercise, because we don't have the licensing to be able to do that. So no big deal. But please do not go and purchase those applications, or those licensing or licenses for those drone to map or site scan. It's not needed. And then just simply take your outcome, either just do a little screen grab or a copy, paste into a Word document, upload those for the assignment activity 7 for this week, and that's all there is. But just familiarity, the lion's share of just on this week is just on the content, reading through the content, getting more ideas with that. Long night, but thank you all for hanging in there, and that's where we're at here for tonight. Any questions before we adjourn that we might have? I may toy with the idea of having an optional session just to kind of come in next week to talk through some things, mainly as it relates to the exam and final projects and things like that. If it's, or well, we'll have an office hour session. So anyway, so we'll plan on that. You know, there'll be an office hour session live. We'll get a chance to meet, talk about, like I said, exams, final projects, things like that. So look for a note to come next week on that. We'll just have it a big global session where you can come in and ask final questions, and I can outline what's ahead, or if anybody has any problems, questions, things like that. So otherwise, take a look at that video here tonight for folks who weren't live with Jeremiah. Really, really helpful, extremely valuable. Any closing thoughts or items for this evening? Okay. Well, with that then, I wish you a wonderful week. If anything, as Jeremiah shares his information, I'll be sure to post that somewhere, maybe in Canvas underneath the course or an announcement so that you have access to that. So I wish you a wonderful week, and we'll see you again soon, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Good night, John. Thank you.
All right.
Y'all
good night,
have
everybody.
a great night.
Thank you.
You too. Thanks, everybody, for hanging in there.